A couple hours before kickoff on Saturday, Colts owner Jim Irsay took to Twitter to let fans know that Andrew Luck would not play against the Bills. So Colts fans, he said, it's a long preseason and 2 home games are coming in the next 2 weeks. Look for number 12 to make his first start then instead of tonight. Then he tweeted, followed up here with, yes, there is some truth on this dark, rainy night that my good friend Rex has never heard of the word preseason. Now, this was alluding to Rex Ryan teams not letting up in the preseason. After the game, Ryan intimated that he did, in fact, let up on Saturday. Rex saying, quote, take a look at the tapes and see how many times we blitzed. So I can tell you one thing. Chuck Pagano is a good friend of mine, a legitimate good friend of mine. I have way more respect for him than I do others. Stephen A., Irsay versus Rex. Whose side are you on?
I'm on Irsay's side in this matter. Certainly the owner, you can make an argument about the owner speaking out or whatever, but that's Irsay, and we all know that he's a bit eccentric and clearly a bit different. Here's the reality about Rex Ryan. He's on the hot seat. We knew this, and we spoke about this coming into this weekend's games, okay? So before his team stepped out on the field against the Indianapolis Colts, Max, we specifically said Rex Ryan is on a hot seat. You've got LaShawn McCoy. You signed Tyrod Taylor to a 6-year, $92 million extension, all right? You got Sammy Watkins. You have your offensive line secure. And when you look at it from that perspective, it's really the first time that Rex Ryan had an offense. When the Jets went to 2 straight AFC championship games in his, inaugural years and with the New York Jets, he didn't have much of an offense. They had a running game, no doubt. Mark Sanchez was a rookie and then entering his second year. And as a result, you had to bring him along and he needed to be the game manager. You rode the coattails of your defense, which we gave Rex Ryan all the credit in the world for, even though Dennis Thurman is a guy that never gets enough credit because he's been religiously your defensive coordinator. We still gave Rex all the credit. Well, how is it that we spent 6 years lauding and praising Rex Ryan for his defensive prowess and brilliance as a defensive mind in the NFL, but then he gets to Buffalo and we forget all of that. We forget to point the blame in his direction. The year before Rex Ryan arrived in Buffalo, the Buffalo Bills had 54 sacks. Last year they had 21. That is a drop of 33 in the number of sacks. We're not going to get into just the penalties and how chaotic they were and how haphazard they were. They got in their own way. We know all of this. We chronicled this. We talked about this ad nauseum. So what does Rex Ryan's crew come in game 1 of the preseason and do? 11 penalties overall, 4 offside calls, including 2 in a row to help the Colts on their first touchdown drive. How in the hell does that happen? And then Rex Ryan's going to come out here and he's going to complain about his team, talking about we got to get it together. No, Rex Ryan, with all due respect, you have to get it together. You're the head coach. You're supposed to be the brilliant dude defensively. You are the guy that's supposed to rival Bill Belichick. You refuse to kiss his ring. You didn't do it in New York. You haven't done it in Buffalo. He continues to wax you, and you have no answer for this. This is on Rex Ryan. So what I'm saying is, if you're Rex Ryan, I know, and am in no way, I'm not qualified to question his acumen or his brilliance defensively. What I am qualified to do is look at results and say, this is what they are. You tell me why that is. The man's teams have been sloppy, unproductive, all right, and get in their own way. And what we have seen already in the first preseason game is the same old under Rex Ryan. Now, for 6 years and counting. At some point in time, somebody needs to let Rex Ryan know, we appreciate you getting on your team, but perhaps you need to look in the mirror and get on yourself before ownership for the Bills do it for you by firing you. I'm not wishing that on him because I like Rex, but he got to get it together.
Well, I'm glad you're up on your soapbox against Rex Ryan. But I believe the question was, whose side are you on, Irsay or Rex Ryan?
And I said Irsay. You didn't
Let me
hear
tell you
that
why
answer?
I'm on Rex Ryan's side.
All right, well, go ahead.
Because while everything you said is true on its surface, that's right, this is really about Irsay saying, why isn't Andrew Luck playing? Because his good friend Rex Ryan has never heard of the word preseason. In other words, he doesn't want to jeopardize his quarterback's health because an overzealous Rex Ryan may actually coach a full-contact sport to win and therefore imperil Irsay's quarterback. Hold on, time out. The level of hypocrisy for an owner to come out and say this, let's step back and think about this for a second. The NFL preseason, which should not exist, I don't know why you can't just have camps and start the regular season, actually does exist because it's a clever way, although transparent, for the owners to extract extra revenue. This is a national sport. Remember, it's mostly national TV contracts. This is the first time that the NFL gets to, the only time the NFL really gets to go to local affiliates and juice them for money as though they're Major League Baseball. The NFL gets to juice the local affiliates for money, gets to make all the money, ticket sales, et cetera, on the games that they don't have to share with the players, essentially. The players essentially don't get paid for the preseason, but the owners do, and the TV networks do, and the sponsors do. Let's focus on the owners. You're extracting money claiming that this product is NFL football. Not regular season, but NFL football nonetheless. And then the owner, who's profiting from this, complains that the opposing coach is actually coaching to play an NFL game? Oh, no, but it's a preseason game. Wink, wink. Come on, Rex, nudge, nudge. You know what we're doing here. We're just juicing the fans for money. Now, think about, don't actually play the game. Think about the people who've been injured in recent years during preseason games, like Jordy Nelson, for example, like Carson Wentz, like Malcolm Mitchell, the Patriots wideout, whose leg bent in the wrong direction, and it looks like he's out for the year. These guys are being lost to injury in so-called meaningless games, games in which men like Irsay say, hey, don't really play football here, when they're selling us a product claiming it's football. The level of hypocrisy of Irsay here far outweighs the fact that Rex Ryan's defense should play better in Buffalo, Stephen A.
Why? Because Rex Ryan is the one that instigated matters as far as I'm concerned by pointing out how he was taking the jab. He was essentially taking the jab at Irsay and the Colts for not playing Andrew Luck. Considering the injuries that Andrew Luck had last year, the bevy of injuries, do we have to go down a list of the injuries that he suffered from last year that led him to only play about 7 or 9 games or so? Really, we have to think about that? If you're Jim Irsay, this is your franchise quarterback that you just gave over $100 million to, that was struggling because he was injured last year. You're Rex Ryan. First of all, it's a couple of things. Number one, you don't need to play your starting quarterback the very, very first game of the preseason. The Dallas Cowboys certainly didn't do that with Tony Romo yesterday. I don't think the Pittsburgh Steelers did that with Big Ben Roethlisberger either. So we got that point out of the way. Number two, did it ever occur to Rex Ryan that Andrew Luck ain't worth going up against? Your team ain't worth Andrew Luck going up against? What is he going to learn? What's he going to learn by going up against the Buffalo Bills? What the hell did they do last year? Why don't you show us that you're a formidable defense again? Why don't you show us, Buffalo Bills, that you're worthy of being competed against? Why don't you show us, Buffalo Bills, Rex Ryan's crew, that indeed you got enough of a crew where I might want to put my quarterback out there because you know what? Let him get some good work in. Let's see what they're going to throw at him. Even though you wouldn't do that in the first preseason game to begin with, the fact of the matter is that it may not have been required against that particular team because Rex does the same old, and maybe, just maybe, they weren't going to be formidable enough for me to waste my energy, my time. All of those things are plausible explanations as to why the Indianapolis Colts, who, by the way, needs to work more on its defense than its offense as far as I'm concerned, because their offense is going to be there fine. Their defense is horrid. But the point that I'm trying to make is this. If I'm going to protect anybody, it's going to be Andrew Luck. And even if I'm not going to protect him, literally in terms of putting him against competition, maybe I want to protect him by not wasting his energy and his time for nonsensical exercises like going up against these Buffalo Bills who seem to get in their own way more so than an opponent will. So maybe, just maybe, that's something that Irsay was thinking, and Rex Ryan didn't need to say anything.
Then which one is it? Is it that the Bills' defense can't do anything anyway, or is it they're going to hurt Andrew Luck?
I don't know. I have not spoken to Irsay. I have not spoken to Rex Ryan, but the bottom line is it's plausible.
I would not play Andrew Luck either in the first preseason game, and not because it's against Rex Ryan and the Bills, but because I want to protect his health. Andrew Luck, I think people don't even know it. We're in the Cam Newton, Andrew Luck era, and people don't even know it yet. I think Andrew Luck is that good. I think he's going to be elite as he was a couple of years ago.
And no, I wouldn't. I agree with you.
And no, I wouldn't risk it either. But that's because. But Irsay is not in the position to make that claim out loud, to actually say Rex Ryan doesn't know that it's the preseason. Irsay, you're selling this to us as NFL product and then turning around and in the same breath saying, but it's not really NFL product. It's just greedy owners enforcing a double standard.
Well, the Buffalo Bills are selling themselves as NFL products, and they haven't proven that as of yet. So what's your argument? How you going to sit there and dime out Irsay but not talk about Rex Ryan on the Bulls?
Did you also notice, too, in the quote, he said, Chuck Pagano is a good friend of mine, a legitimate good friend, left Irsay out, kind of taking a shot there. That's not his boy, that Pagano
I don't feel that way
is.
about others.
That's fine, but, you know, what you're doing is identifying that you have a personal relationship with Chuck Pagano.
Yeah.
I have no problem with that.
All right, and congrats to Tyrod Taylor, who signed a 6-year, $92 million
He deserves it, especially
extension
for that
there.
squad.
So he'll be with the Bills, giving them some security. When we come back, we're going to take a break from the NFL and go to the association. Team USA, what's going on in Rio? Barely surviving for the third straight game. Wait till you hear what Kevin Durant has to say after the game. We'll share those comments. Stephen A. and Max will react in just a bit. Stay here.